Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So this video is for commerce students. Okay, commerce students. So we are going to answer 2021. 2021, yes. Okay, this is internal. So let's start with section A. So commerce is divided into three sections. We have section A, section B, and as well as section C. Section A is multiple choice. Section B, a little bit of one-word answer, matching, and some explanations. But section C is for essay type questions. That's how commerce is. So, section A, there are 20 questions. Okay. So, question 1, the question reads. So, first, the instruction reads: answer the questions in this section in the answer booklet provided by putting a cross on the letter you have chosen as your answer. Okay, so section A, you answer in the answer booklet. So the first question reads: what is the other name for aids to trade? What is the other name for aids to trade? Now, aids to trade are also known as commercial services or activities. Okay, commercial services, aids to trade. So there is A, production, no. B, entrepreneurship. C, commercial services. D, business. So the answer is C to question 1. All right, because commercial services are just aids to trade. Aids to trade, these are services or commercial services that help trade to take place. Let's go to question 2. Which one of the following is not an effect of air pollution? Meaning, 3 of them are effects of air pollution. Now, which one is not an effect of air pollution? Air pollution, A, causes acid rain. Yes, it causes acid rain, so A is not the answer. B, air pollution causes breathing difficulties. Yes, especially industries. Like lead minings and other industries. Greenhouse effect. Yes, it causes greenhouse effect. D, littering. No. Throwing garbages is land pollution, so it's not an effect of air pollution, littering. So D is the answer to question 2. Question 3. Question 3. A dash is a legal binding exchange of promises or agreement between parties. A legal binding exchange of promises or agreements, okay, between parties is called a contract. It's a contract. A contract is just a legal binding of promises or agreements between parties. Okay, that is a contract. It's not a statement, it's not a check, it's not a certificate, it is a contract. So C, D is the answer to the third question. Okay, let's go to question. What question is this? Question 4. Question 4. Credit sales agreement is made when customers get goods on credit. That's when credit sales agreement is made. When customers buy goods on credit sales. So A, when they pay cash for the goods, no. Why are you preparing a credit sales agreement? B, pay nothing for the goods. C, get the goods and pay later. Yes, this is the answer. Get the goods and pay later. D, ask for personal advice from the retailer. No. So question 4 is C. All right. Question 5. In order to protect home industries from competition from abroad, countries usually impose tariffs. Okay, in order to protect home industries from unnecessary competition from abroad, from abroad or from other countries, external or international countries or other countries. Countries, they impose tariffs, okay? Impose tariffs. So the answer here is D. They don't impose balance of payment, exchange control, no, excise duty, no. They impose tariffs. That is the answer to the fifth question. Let's go to question 6. Question 6. Unlimited liability is when. So you should make sure now such questions usually come also, they also come in section B. So you should know. This is part of studying our notes, especially multiple choice, especially question the second question, which is which one of the following is not an effect of air pollution? The question may be phrased in section B like list the effects of air pollution. So you can say acid rain, breathing difficulties, greenhouse effect. So you should be very careful as you are going through multiple choice questions. Okay, let's go to question 6. Unlimited liabilities or liability is when A, profit and losses are shared equally. B, profit and losses are shared in proportion to capital invested. C, traders know their customers personally. D, traders lose both their business and private property. This is correct. This is when traders, unlimited liability, it means you lose both the business and the property. That is unlimited liability. You lose both business and private property. Question 7. So they may ask, what is meant by unlimited, not limited, but unlimited liability? So you say this is when traders lose both their business and also their property. 7. In a limited company, capital is raised by, listen, capital is raised by shares, okay? Selling of shares in a company. You sell shares in order to raise capital in a limited company. So A, trading and selling, not really. B, selling of shares, yes. Selling of shares, that's how capital is raised in limited company. So question 7 is B. Okay, selling of shares. Okay, so for instance, if our company wants to raise capital, we sell shares. Okay, we can say, oh, it's 1,000 per share, 1,000 kwacha per share. Okay, so per share, and we can say, oh, there are 50 shares. 50 shares. So 50 shares, this amounts to 50,000 kwacha. If somebody has to buy half of the share or 50 shares in the company, then he or she needs to pay 50,000, and that is a capital. That's how capital is raised in a limited company. Okay, let's go to question 8. Question 8. 7 is B. Yes. Question 8. Debenture holders. This is now good. This is similar to the previous question. Debenture holders are creditors to a company who receive. Debenture holders are creditors to the company who receive A, dividends. No, only shareholders. Shareholders receive dividend. B, interests. C, loans. D, profit. Debenture holders receive interests. Okay, they are creditors to the company who receive interest. So 8 is B. 9. What mode of transport would be recommended for delivery of diamonds from South Africa to Morocco? This is now dash transport. diamond is valuable, and it needs the fastest mode of transport, and the fastest mode of transport is air. So the answer here is A. We can't use railway, is very slow. We can't use road, can't reach Morocco, and it's also slower than air transport. Can't use sea, are very slow. So number 9 is air transport. Number 10, dash is evidence of the contract of carriage of goods. Evidence of contract of carriage of goods. A, an air bill. B, a bill of lading. C, an indent. D, a shipping note. So an evidence of the contract of goods, carriage of goods, is called bill of lading. Bill of lading, which is B. Not bill of landing, but bill of lading. Let's go to 11. A warehouse where raw materials meant for further processing are kept is called a warehouse where raw materials meant for further processing are called. This is manufacturer's warehouse. Okay, manufacturer's warehouse. It's not a bonded warehouse, not a retailer's warehouse or public warehouse. This one is a manufacturer's warehouse. A manufacturer's warehouse, it is a warehouse where raw materials are kept. Okay, are kept for further processing. So 11 is B. 12. Wow. Building societies' main area of concentration is. Building societies' main area of concentration is. Listen, and listen very well. Building societies in Zambia, we have what is known as the ZNBS. ZNBS, Zambia National Building Societies. Zambia National Building Societies, the main area of concentration is giving loans to builders or someone who wants to construct something. A loan given by Zambia National Building Societies is called a mortgage. Okay, it's called a mortgage. So according to this question, building societies' main area of concentration is A, approving mortgages. B, being financial advisors to the government. C, discounting bills of exchange. D, providing checks facilities. Is approving mortgages. So the answer is A. Okay, the answer is A. Question 13. A bank service where the customer instructs the bank to make regular payments to a specific creditor on specific dates over a period of time is called. So an instruction to a bank to make by the banker, okay, or a customer to make regular payments to a customer is called a standing order. It's called a standing order. So 13, where is the standing order? 13 is D. It's not an automated teller machine or ATM card. No, guys. It's not a credit transfer, not a direct debit, but it is a standing order, an instruction to the bank. Question 14. Question 14 reads, what postal service enables valuable items to be sent through the post service office? What postal service enables valuable items to be sent through post service? This one, A, an electronic mail? No. B, an express mail service? No. A microfinance companies? No. Registered letter? Yes. So 14 is D. A registered letter is a postal service that enables valuable items to be sent through the post office. 15. Still under communication. What postal service? 15. A postal service that provides overnight delivery of urgent and important packages is called A RELEX, B letterpost, C datapost, D a contravision. The answer is the RELEX. RELEX, which is A. Now, a RELEX service is a postal service that provides overnight delivery of urgent and important goods or items. That is 15. Let's go to the last 5 of section A, then we go to section B. So 16. Identify the communication service. That is used for sending and receiving exact copies of document in business organization. Identify the communication service that is used for sending and receiving exact copies of what document in business organization. This one is the fax mail, which is B. Without even wasting much of the time. This is a fax mail. It's not a data post. It's not even a free post or a phonograph. So you should know this as you are going through these questions. You should know, because these questions may come in section B of your paper. May come section B of your paper. Let's go to 17. Question 17 reads, what is the cost of insurance code? What is the cost of insurance code? Now, the money you pay to the insurance company, that money is called the premium. Premium. So which one is the C? It's called the premium. Premium is the money you pay to the insurance company for an insurance cover. So it's not fire, it's not insured, it's not risk. It is a premium. 18. Which one of the dangers of advertising is? So meaning 3 of these are not dangers of advertising, but they are benefits or importance of advertising. And the only one is a danger of advertising. A, to educate the consumers on new goods or new products. This one is not a danger. This is an important, this one is a benefit of, one of the benefits of advertising. So A is not the answer. B, to provide workers and fill up job vacancies. This one is also a benefit of advertising. C, that advertising can go to extremes. Yeah, this one is a danger. Advertising can go to extremes. So C, without even reading D. Anyway, let's read D as well. D, that it can lead to increased sales. Yes, advertising can lead to increased sales, which is a benefit. So C, advertising can go to extreme. They can advertise products they don't even have. The quality of products they don't even have, because there is also editing. There is even Photoshop now. Okay, we edit nicely, but when you see the item in real life, you find that it's not as advertised. It doesn't look the same way as advertised. So 18 is C. D, 19, still under advertising. The advertising medium that provides both visual and audio is where you can see the product and also hear the sound someone is saying. Is it a magazine? Magazine is visual and not audio. A poster is visual and not audio. Radio is audio and not visual. Television is both visual and the audio. So number 19 is D, television. Number 20. Number 20. Which of the following is not used in promoting sales? Still under advertising. Which of the following is not used in promoting sales? Meaning 4 of these are used in promoting sales. Listen, A, billboards. Billboards are used to promote sales. So A is not the answer. Coupons. Coupons are also used to promote sales. This is like a card you are given when you present the card. Okay, when you present the card to the seller, okay, the sales assistant, then the sales assistant will deduct the cost. Let's say, let me give you an example. A coupon, let's say, is saying 100 kwacha. Then you go there and buy something cost 150 kwacha. So you just required to pay 50 kwacha. The 100 kwacha is being cancelled. So now people will be, this one increases what? Increases sales, as more people would want coupons. Information. Then D, trading stamp. Let me go to D first. Trading stamp, these were mostly used in America, and they're just like cards. Okay, cards mostly used in America and in Britain or England. So information here is not used to promote sales. Okay, so this one is though it's debatable, but it's the best answer according to the other options that are here. C, 20 is the answer. Okay. So that's all about section B of 2021. Okay, so section B, the first question in section B, which is question 1. Question 1 is saying, the following is a list of people involved in various activities. Okay, name the stage of production each of them is involved in. Wow, this is nice. Is involved in. So there's a list here. This side, there's a list, and here you have stage of production. Stage of production. Guys, this is simple. Production, you have primary production, secondary production, and also tertiary production. So there is a miner here, a miner and a farmer. A miner and a farmer. So now, what stage of production is a farmer? You know, a farmer is a primary producer. Okay? A farmer is a primary what? Yes. It's a primary producer. So primary, can you just say primary producer. A farmer is a primary producer. What? So they're turning raw materials into finished products. Now, next is a manufacturer. A manufacturer is a secondary. So, I mean, primary, these are not turning raw materials into finished products. They create raw materials. Okay, they create raw materials like maize, coming up with farming produce. A miner can mine, let's say, gold or copper, lead, or other minerals. So a manufacturer turns those maize, okay, into finished products, which is a secondary what? Producer. Secondary producer. An example, a farmer produces maize and a manufacturer turns maize into meal. Okay, so that is a secondary producer. Then you who eats, you a consumer. Oh, there is no consumer. A consumer is see, yeah, you're a consumer. You're not even a producer, you're a consumer. Now here you have teachers. So you have a teacher and a doctor. A teacher and a doctor, this is an example of a tertiary. Okay, tertiary producer. Why tertiary producers? Because all these people deal with services. A teacher teaches like what I'm doing here. I'm offering a service, so that is a tertiary production. Okay, a doctor offers a service by providing medical services. That is tertiary production. Okay, tertiary production, because tertiary has to do with the services. All right. Now, you who eats finished products or products produced by a manufacturer, you are known as a consumer. Okay, I think that is the answer to the. Now, those are the solutions to question A, question 1. Then you have question 2. Question 2, let me just create space. Okay, so the second question, which is question 2, is saying, question 2A is saying, what is an inquiry? All right. Oh, by the way, so here you can also say, because they're saying stage. So here you can say primary stage, secondary stage, tertiary stage. Okay. I've used producers because these are people. A farmer is a person. Okay. So is a primary producer. A manufacturer is also a person, so is a secondary producer. So this is stage of production. This is primary stage. Okay, let me just change to stage. Okay, so that we follow the instructions nicely. So this one is a primary stage. This one is a secondary stage. And then this one is a tertiary stage. Simple. Now, what is an inquiry? Now, an inquiry, this is when a potential customer requests for information about a certain product or a service, okay, to from the company or the business. So an inquiry, you can say an inquiry is a request made by a potential customer it's a request made by a potential customer requesting information about certain goods, or just about goods and services from the business. In fact, it's about certain goods, because an inquiry could just say, please, I want a quotation. You are an inquiry about a certain type of goods or services. So that is an inquiry. The second question, I think the second question has to do with a little bit of calculations. So they're saying, Chanda owns a small business that sells the following items to Chongo. Okay, that sells the sale is the chong. So 45, they're saying 45 bags of rice at 80 kwacha each. So 80 kwacha each. 80 kwacha each. So if you want to know the total amount, you just multiply 45 multiplied by 80. So total cost of 45 bags is, you multiply, so 8 times 5 is 40. So we have this 0 here, 0, 40, you can say 0 carry 4. Then 8 times 4 is 32. 32 plus 4 is 36. So 3,600 ngwe is the cost of 45 bags. Now, what are they saying here? They're saying less 15% trade discount. How much will Chongo receive? How much will he receive from Chongo? Okay, so there is 15% trade discount. So you can say 15% over 100% times the cost, the total cost, the actual cost of goods. What are we doing? We want to calculate 15% of this so that we know how much Chongo will paid. So 3,600. So these two zeros will cancel, and this also will cancel. So we're going to multiply 15 zeros and 2 zeros cancel. 15 times 36, we're going to have 540 kwacha. So this one is the 15% trade discount. 15% trade discount. So to know the actual amount the Chongo paid, we are going to subtract the discount from the actual amount of the actual cost of 45 bags. So we're going to say 3,600 minus 540 here, 540, 0 minus 0, 0. This one becomes 5, this one becomes 10 minus, what's this, 4 is 6. 5 minus 5 is 0. 3 minus 0 is just 3. So this is the amount of money this will pay 00 ngwe. 3,060 kwacha. Okay, that's what with the second question, which is question 2. Okay. Question 3. Question 3 is very interesting. So they're saying match the following statements with the appropriate word or phrase. So there is a statement, then this side you have a word. So let's match them. So the first one, A, they're saying the statutory board responsible for monitoring the flow of goods from countries, among countries for the purpose of computing tax. The statutory board responsible for monitoring flow of goods among countries for the purpose of computing tax. Is it dumping, charter party, custom and excise authority, consular invoice, or E, balance of payment? The answer is C. So this one can be matched with C, which is the Customs and Excise Authority. The Customs and Excise Authority, it is a board that is responsible for monitoring the flow of goods among countries. So you can say this is custom, which is C, customs, and the excise mean the exercise, but excise authority. Excise authority. Okay. Then number 2, which is B, a document is signed by Consular General of the importing country resident in the exporting nation. They're saying here Consular General. So this is the consular invoice. As simple as this. It's consular invoice. Okay. Okay, consular invoice. Question C. See, they're saying bringing of low quality goods from rich countries at a cheaper price. This is dumping, guys. This is dumping, bringing low quality of goods from richer countries. This is dumping. What is dumping? It's A. Dumping. Dumping. Last question, second last question. So D. They're saying it is the difference between a country's visible exports and the visible imports in a given year. This one is balance of payment. You're not even looking at different options. This is balance of payment, which is E. Balance of payment, not balance of trade, but this is balance of payment. Okay, balance of payment, the difference between a country's visible imports and the visible exports in a given year, balance of payment. So we still have E. So DE. So E is matched with the one that is remaining, charter party. So they're saying a document signed as a contract of hiring a ship based on the journey or period of time. Yes, it's a charter party, which is B. Charter party. So a charter party is a document that is signed as a contract of hiring a ship based on the what? On the journey or a period of time. That's all to question 3. Question 4 of 2021 is saying, in relation to partnership, explain partnership deed. In relation to partnership, explain partnership deed, and this one is 3 marks. Explain partnership deed. So what you can say a partnership deed. A partnership deed is a legal document. It's a legal document. It's a legal document that outlines the rights, responsibilities, and also obligations. Okay? Obligations of what? Of each partner in the business or in the partnership. In the partnership business. In the partnership business. This is 3 marks. This partnership deed also includes details. It also include details of capital contributions of each partner, not only capital contributions but also management duties, and also, last but not the least, this is very important, procedure. or procedures to follow, okay, procedures to follow for dispute resolutions. You can resolve conflict, or also you can dissolve conflict resolution or dissolution. Okay, conflict resolution or conflict dissolution. Okay, dissolutions. Now listen, it's not that when you become partners with your friends in business, things will be just running smoothly. Oh, by the way, even profit sharing. So capital contribution, can also say profit sharing. Very important. Profit sharing. Then management of duties, yes. Profit sharing. Now, I was saying, when you're in business, it's not always that things will be just running smooth. There may be disputes, okay? There may be disputes or misunderstandings. So you should know the procedure for dispute resolution or dissolutions, okay? So everything that is here is covered in the partnership deed. In the partnership deed, it's just a legal document. It outlines the rights, obligations, and responsibility of each partner in the partnership business. It also includes capital contribution, what each partner contributed. Not only that, but also the profit sharing ratio. Okay, the profit sharing, management duties, and also procedures to follow for dispute resolutions or dispute dissolutions. That is the answer to the fourth question. Okay guys, question 5. What is meant by the word stock? The meaning of stock found on the stock exchange. Now, stock found on the stock exchange, this one refers to the owner's ownership, okay, of the company. Shares of ownership. So these are shares of ownership of the company or owner's company on the in the company that are traded on the stock exchange. They're traded on the stock exchange. So if you buy stock in a certain company, meaning the part of the you own portion of that company. So profit sharing and also losses of that company, you are entitled. Okay, you are entitled to the profit and the loss of the company. Okay, so in written form, the meaning of stock found on the stock market or stock exchange. Stock is just shares of ownership of the company, in the company. So shares of ownership in a company, okay, that are traded or that are sold on board or traded on the stock exchange. Shares of ownership are traded. So those shares of ownership are stock, what you call stock. They are traded or bought and sold on the stock exchange. So when a person buys a stock on the stock market, they purchase part of the company, which entitles them to profits and the losses. As simple as this. This is the simplest definition of stock found on the stock exchange or stock market. In Zambia we have LUSE, which is Lusaka Stock Exchange. Lusaka Stock Exchange. Let's go to question 6 of 2021. So question 6, the question reads, give 3 disadvantages of sea transport. Give 3 disadvantages of sea transport. So now, sea transport, number 1 is weather dependence. Weather dependency. Okay, weather dependency. So weather dependency is one of the disadvantages of sea transport, because sea transport can heavily be impacted by adverse weather conditions. Okay, leading to delays. Okay, number two, slow speed. Slow speed. Sea transport is just generally slow, guys. It's very slow compared to other modes of transport like air transport and road transport. The other disadvantage of sea transport is that there is limited accessibility. Limited accessibility. There is limited accessibility, meaning sea transport is limited to coastal areas, and it requires additional transport or transportation means to reach to inland destinations. So these are disadvantages of sea transport. Some of the disadvantages of sea transport. Let's go to question 7. Question 7. Question 7. Use the words or phrases below to fill in the blank spaces. So there is commercial banks, central bank, fixed deposit account, stare, depositing, withdrawing, post-dated. Wow. So A, they're saying a bank account on which interest is earned. Wow. A bank account on which interest is earned is fixed deposit account. So here the answer is fixed deposit account. That's where interest is earned. B, Stanbic Bank, Investtrust, Indo-Zambia Bank are all examples of commercial banks. These are commercial banks, guys. Are all examples of commercial banks. Alright. C, Dash is the principal financial institute in any given country. Is the principal financial institution or institute in any given country. These are central banks. In every country, the principal financial institution is the central bank. Is the central bank. A, B, C, D. Automated teller machine, which is ATM machines, can be used for both withdrawing and depositing cash. So you can start with depositing, can be used for both depositing and withdrawing. So these are the answers. You can start with withdrawing and depositing, there's no problem. E, when a check stays for more than 6 months, which is 180 days, it becomes stale. That's the answer. Stale. So stale check is a check which stays for more than 180 days, which is 6 months. All right. That is question 7. Let's go to question 8. Okay, so question 8 is saying, give brief explanation of data post as a communication service. So data post is one of the communication services that allows, now this one allows the transfer of electronic documents or electronic transfer of documents such as data and other information through social or post system. So in other words, let me just write the explanation. So This is a brief explanation of what data post is as a communication service. So data post is just a communication service that allows electronic transmission of information, data, not only these but also other information through postal systems, okay, or electronic networks. It is also used to send digital data quickly and efficiently between individuals and businesses. Okay, that is a brief explanation of what a data post is. It allows electronic transmission of information, data, and as well as other information through postal systems or electronic networks. It is used to send digital data quickly and efficiently between customers or individuals and businesses. That is question 8. Let's go to question 9. Number 9, the question is briefly explain the principle, the endowment policy. The endowment policy. Now, this is the type of insurance. That is the type of insurance that provides coverage for a period of time. Okay, it provides coverage for a period of time. Now, if a person does not, if a person survives within a specific period of time, there will be a compensation. Okay, they will receive a lump sum payment if the person doesn't die under endowment insurance policy. Yes. So I was saying, under endowment insurance policy, it provides an insurance cover for a specific period of time. Now, if the person survives within that period of time, the person receives a lump sum payment. Okay? A lump sum payment. Now, if the insured person dies within the period of time, the beneficiaries receive death benefits. Okay, death benefits. So you can say, okay, so an endowment policy is a type of life insurance that provides coverage for a specific period. If the insured person survives the policy terms, they receive a lump sum payment. Now, if the insured person dies during the term, the beneficiaries receive the death benefit. So, the endowment policy combines savings and protection. Okay? Savings and protection elements. So, making it useful for long-term financial planning. It's very good because you can save, you can also provide protection. So this is a nice policy. Alright. That is question 9. Question 10. Question 10 of 2021, which is the last question in section B. In section B, yes. So they're asking us to list 5 factors that would influence the choice of media. 5 factors that would influence the choice of media. Now, the first one, you can say cost. Cost. We're just listing cost. Cost would influence the choice of media. The budget available for the media campaign. Cost. So secondly, the other factor that would influence the choice of media is the reach. Okay? The reach. The coverage or the reach of the distance or the radius the media covers. Okay? If it covers, let's say for instance, the whole, just Lusaka, and you want to advertise products countrywide, then you would automatically not choose the media that covers only Lusaka, but you can choose the media that covers countrywide, the whole country. Okay, so the reach also is very important. You can't go to a radio station, for instance, that covers only a community, a certain community like Linda or Chilanga or maybe Kanyama or Chawama, but your reach should be your target audience, which is also another factor. Target audience. Target audience, is it for children, adults, youths, or everyone? Okay, so this is the demographics or preferences of intended audience. That is target audience. Number 4, the other factor that would influence the choice of media is the message content. Message content. So the message content, the nature and complexity of the message being communicated. So number 5, which is the last one, the frequency, the number of times the audience would view or listen to your message. So frequency. So frequency would also influence the choice of media. Message content would also influence the choice of media, cost, reach, and target audience. So these are the solutions or answers to the 10th question, which is the last question in section B. So question 1 of section C. So there are 5 questions, and we are asked to only answer 2. So 3 of these, is it 2 or 3? The 5 questions, yes, and answer only 2. We are required to answer only 2. The first question is, how do commercial services assist a doctor in running a small hospital? 20 marks. This is part of, this is essay questions type. Okay? So the first one, you define what commercial services are. So you can say, commercial services, these are aids to trade. These are services that help trade to take place or trade to occur. And these commercial services are, you can write this memory aid, WABTIC, WAB, let me just write like this, WABTIC, like this, WABTIC. These are commercial services or aids to trade. So when they usually ask such questions, how these commercial services can help a farmer, can help a doctor who is running a small hospital. Now, this W is warehouse, warehousing. So warehousing, this is an aids to trade that deals with the safekeeping or temporary storage of goods before they are transmitted to the designated places or to where they are needed. So how warehousing can help a doctor who is running a small business is that it helps safekeeping of pharmaceuticals or medicines. Okay, safekeeping of medicines. That is a warehouse. Okay, from the manufacturer to the hospital's warehouse for safekeeping. This one is advertising. A is advertising. Advertising has to do with publicity, publicizing, making your company or making your hospital known. So advertising can help a person who is running a hospital in that to attract more clients or more patients. Okay, to attract more patients, you can use radio, you can use television, you can use magazine, you can use newspapers, you can also use internet or social media, okay, to advertise your hospital. In other words, guys, when they ask you how commercial services can help a person, they're saying how these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 services can help a person. Okay, can help a person run a business. It can be a farmer or like a hospital. So radio provides audio. Television provides both visual and audio. What is this? Newspaper. It's magazine. Magazine provides visual. Okay, newspaper visual. Social media is now the most effective way of advertising, in that most people are on social media platforms: Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, TikTok. We also have YouTube and other social media platforms. Okay, so you can use these to advertise your hospital so that you have more clients or patients. Then this one is banking. Make sure you understand it's not only about a hospital, it's about understanding how these help a person. So banking, this is a service. It can help the hospital. It can provide the hospital with loans, okay, with loans as a form of capital, and also safekeeping money made by that hospital. Then this one is transport. This transport is under logistics. Now, transport can help transporting pharmaceuticals, medicines, okay, from the manufacturer to warehouse or direct to the hospital. Okay, that is transport. That's how transport can help a small hospital. This one is insurance. Insurance, we have NEMA as an example. NEMA. Now, insurance, this one is protection against all kinds of risks. So you can insure your hospital against fire, okay, against theft and other risks, insurable risks that you can insure. Last but not the least is communication, guys. Communication. Communication, this refers to the transfer of information from one person to another. So communication can help the hospital in that the hospital or the owner of the hospital will be communicating with the manufacturer. Okay, the manufacturer inquiring about certain medicines or pharmaceuticals products. Okay, not only this, but also it helps the communication between the doctor, doctor and nurses within the hospital. Under communication here, you also have IT for safekeeping of data, okay, data or registers, all right, and other important benefits of IT, all right. Also for X-rays, that is IT, X-rays, and also radio and chemotherapy. Now, I've explained a lot. When you just explain these, how warehouse helps a hospital, advertising, banking, transport, and also transport, not only moving pharmaceuticals, but also moving nurses or workers from one place to another. Insurance, communication, that's it. Then you've explained everything nicely, okay? That's when you can get 20 marks. But if you get 18 or 17, it's also okay, all right? It's also fine. That is question 1. So, in a nutshell, commercial services provide financial services when it comes to banking, which is financial services, insurance services, which is insurance here, supply chain services, which is warehousing here, warehousing. IT services is under communication and technology there. Okay, marketing services, that is advertising. Marketing services, that is advertising, guys. Okay. So question 2, so you can choose either to answer the functions of a Husserl or the function of ZRA. Okay, ZRA. In fact, you don't choose this one question. There is 2A and B. This is nice. So 2A, functions of Husserls. So now, a Husserl is a person who buys goods in bulk, okay, and stores them or sells them to a retailer. All right. So the functions of a retailer is bulky buying. So you can just say bulky buying. So bulky buying is buying in large quantity. Okay, buying in large quantities from manufacturers. So a wholesaler buys goods in large quantities from the manufacturer. Not only bulk buying, but also storage of goods. They store goods. They provide warehouse facilities. Okay, like I previously explained under commercial services, warehousing. So they buy goods in bulk and they store them in warehouses for what? Until they are needed by the retailer. Okay, or seasonal goods. Okay, like raincoats. You can't be selling raincoats in March or July. So you store them. So it's a function of a wholesaler to store those seasonal goods. Distribution. Yeah, it is the function of a wholesaler to distribute goods to various retailers, reducing the burden on the manufacturer. Okay, so a wholesaler reduces, so thereby reducing the burden on the manufacturer. Number one, bulky buying. They buy goods in large quantities. These wholesalers, they buy goods in large quantities and store them. And sell them to retailers. They also provide warehouse facilities. They store goods until they are needed by the storage of goods and also distributing goods on behalf of the manufacturer. So this one, at least, this is an advantage to the manufacturer or producer, because the burden of distributing goods is lessened by the wholesaler. Not only this, but also risk taker. So a wholesaler is a risk taker. So they take risks associated with storage, like distribution, because when they store goods here, there are chances that there may be theft. Okay, theft, not only theft, but also fire. So a wholesaler is a risk taker. Or wholesalers are risk takers. Not only risk taking, but also financing. Now, how about financing as a function of a wholesaler? So they provide the credit facilities to retailers, allowing them to stock goods or to store goods without immediate payment. Now, this financing, this credit facility, is only given to trusted retailers. Not everyone, but the trusted retailers, those who've been buying to a wholesaler, and they've become as trusted customers or trusted retailers. So that is providing credit facilities. All right. The other one, which is very important, is also market information or research. or market information. Now, on market information or research, they provide these wholesalers provide valuable information to manufacturers. Okay, they provide valuable information to Okay, so providing market information, valuable information to the manufacturer. Okay, about regarding consumers' preferences and demands, feedback. So giving feedback to the manufacturer, back to the manufacturer, no, you should improve on this. People are complaining about this, or people are saying this is good, this is nice, continue producing this product. So when you're writing this essay, you list and explain, list and explain. So what is important is knowing these functions. Explaining is not difficult. Bulky buying, you know what bulky buying is. Okay, so you explain. That's all to question 2a. We can go to question 2b. Question 2b, which is saying, question 2b is saying, discuss the functions of Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA. Discuss the functions of the Zambia Revenue Authority, which is the ZRA. Now, this Zambia Revenue Authority the functions is just similar to these. If you know the functions, you can list them, or you list explain. The answer is just similar to this, similar in answering, not similar as bulky buying, storage, whatever. So if you know individual functions, like collecting taxes, for instance, ZRA has the duty to collect taxes. You know, collecting tax as the first one. Collecting tax. You explain the meaning of collecting tax, how they collect the tax, and types of taxes they collect. So Zambia Revenue Authority has the first important task, or first important function, is to collect what? To collect the tax. Okay, or tax collection. All right, tax collection. So they collect various types of tax, like income tax. They collect income tax or value-added tax, which is, so there's income tax, value-added tax, which is VAT. Okay, custom duties. Yeah, customs duties is the function of the ZRA, the Zambia Revenue Authority, to collect tax. Not only this, now listen, they also provide education, which is known as taxpayer education. So they provide the education and assistance to taxpayers to help them understand and comply with what? The tax obligations under taxpayer education. The importance of complying and complying with tax obligations. Now, the other important function of the ZRA is enforcement. Enforcement. Now, enforcement of what? Now, they enforces tax laws. The ZRA enforces what? Tax laws and regulations to ensure compliance and reduce tax evasion. So they enforce tax laws. Apart from enforcing tax laws, they also implement tax policies, okay, or policy implementation. So policy implementation, so they implement government tax policies and ensure they are adhered to to by businesses and individuals. So the government comes up with the tax policy, then it's the duty of the ZRA to implement that policy. Okay? To implement that policy. Now, apart from collecting tax, taxpayer education, enforcement, and also policy implementation, it is also the duty and the function of the ZRA, the Zambia Revenue Authority, to control customs control. Customs control. They monitors and regulates the import and export of goods and of goods to prevent smuggling and ensure the collection of appropriate duties. So customs control. They control the goods that are imported and exported. All right, and also they ensure they prevent smuggling. All right, that is the duty of the ZRA. Okay, so number one, collecting tax. Number two, enforcement. Taxpayer education, enforcement. There is also revenue. What money? Yeah, revenue management. Revenue management, this is managing the management of management and accounts for revenue collected, managing the revenue, the money received, and also the accounts. Okay, ensuring that there is proper allocation of funds, and also there is to ensure that there is transparency, okay, in handling the taxes collected. That is the function of the ZRA: collecting tax, pay taxpayer education, educating people about being compliant to taxes, enforcement of the law, policy implementation. This is implementing the policies that are made by the government, customs control, the revenue management. Okay, think that's all. When you explain these, then you are done. You explain these as a question for 2A, this is 2A, this is 2B, this is 10 marks, 10 marks, and together is 20 marks. Then commerce, you are safe. Okay. So that's all about this video, 2021, we've answered 2021. Thank you so much.